Who is spending our money? Who is taking our money? So understanding your past expenditures and your past sources and parasites, yes, that might be the right way, things that are eating your money away, it's important because you can't manage what you don't know. How many of you have experienced a situation where you knew that you had money in your account and only to recognize that when you went into the ATM or you went into the app to check what's your balance, you recognize it's gone and you're scratching your head to know, where did my money go? It is because you don't have a map. And if you can track where your money went, then you can't manage it well. Hello and welcome to Expansion Revolution Nuggets. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I am very excited to talk to you today about this continuation of the principles of budgeting. I am trying to urge you that budgeting is an important exercise that can help you manage the God-given money well. And when you manage money well, guess what it will do? It will make your life better. It will make your children's life better. It will take you places that you can never be. The skill of success lies in managing money well. And the first skill of managing money well is what I'm talking about today, budgeting. Now, we've been looking at various principles, and today we are looking at another principle, which is the principle of spending. Now, the principle of spending is sometimes called the premise of budgeting. It is called by the premise of budgeting by those who argue that before you go into a budgeting exercise, the premise of that budgeting exercise should be, what do you want to spend on? And as a bit of an argument, there's a very strong argument in those who argue that before we talk about budgeting, we need to know, where is our money going to? Who is spending our money? Who is taking our money? So understanding your past expenditures and your past sources and parasites, yes, that might be the right way, things that are eating your money away, it's important because you can't manage what you don't know. And a budget is a management tool, so you can't manage what you don't know. So before you go into budgeting, can you do an exercise that can help you tell, where does most of your money go? Who is consuming most of your money at this time? And that can help you. Who is consuming most of your money? What consumes most of your money? Where does most of your money go? This allows you to do a budget that seeks to control. Maybe there's a wrong person here who is taking much more of your money and you don't know. But the moment you sit down and write where your money goes, then you'll begin to understand how you have been spending your money. I have run this exercise for professionals before they do their net worth, and I'm about to talk about net worth. And people get surprised to recognize what has been consuming most of their income. Because if you are not budgeting, it means you are not taking anything. So you don't know where most of your money goes. So it is important. Anything that we wish to manage, we need to know about it. So you need to know who is consuming most of your money. I mean, maybe you don't think it's that particular person. You are calling her, you are putting fuel to see her or him or whatever. And then you recognize that more of my money is going towards that person. And you don't recognize because it's not a direct exchange that you give to that person. So very important. Know who is consuming most of your money. Know what you spend much more of your money. Is it food? Is it transport? Is it any other logistic? And you also need to know, where do you normally spend much more of your money? Do you take it to the bar? Do you take it to the shop? Where? Because managing these three important circles would help us to arrive at making a plan of how we spend our money well. And here's the most important thing that is key to the exercise, is that if you can't track your money, you can't budget for it. If you can't track your spending, you can't budget for it. Now, a budget, it's important because it can help you track where most of your money is spent and who spent most of your money and where most of your money is spent. Now, we cannot talk about money management without emphasizing this. And it's key. That's why I was saying at the beginning of this video that sometimes you call this principle the premise of budgeting. But it is an important principle because you need to know where most of your money. There are people who are normally quick at blaming other people to say, you know, you are taking most of your money, I'm spending on you. But if we were to sit down and begin to calculate how much you spend in that person, you might be spending less. But just because you gave him the little, then you argue it's much because you don't know where most of your money went into. How many of you have experienced a situation where you knew that you had money in your account and only to recognize that when you went into the ATM or you went into the app to check what's your balance, you recognize it's gone and you're scratching your head to know, where did my money go? It is because you don't have a map. And if you can't track where your money went, then you can't manage it well. Let's remember why we are discussing this. God wants us to manage our money well so that our money can help us to enjoy the life that God has planned for us here. And if you mismanage your money, you are likely to blame God, blame the devil for things that you can have control on. When we begin to recognize that it is within us to track our spending, to track our expenditure, to track how we manage money, to know who takes what from us, then we are growing into a level that can force us to manage our money and to plan for it because it becomes important. Not only that, we know that in this life, we normally talk about parasites, and I know this seems like TikTok, but there are people who come into your life to take. All they want in your life is money. And if you don't have a practical plan of how you are going to avoid people to take away money from you, then they are going to come into your life and take it. And you will never recognize it until you sit down and track your spending and recognize who is taking what. And this may be people in the form of individuals. Sometimes it's not even individuals alone, even shops. I normally tell people when we deal with debt management, part of the reason is how salespeople are always intentional about how they can get money out of you, but we are never intentional about where you want to spend your money. And the rule of proximity takes place. What does that mean? It means he who is near to you and what is appealing to you seems appetizing to you, and you make the decision that is out of your budget, and you spend your money in buying things that you don't need just because you are under proximity or there's a thought or a concept or an idea or a commodity that is being sold to you, then you spend on it and it was not planned for. So very important, there are parasites that will want to take money for you. Do you have a plan of how to block them from stealing the money that you could use on things that can build you? Without tracking our expenditure, we have no plan. So make sure that as you end this video, take a paper and a pen and track how you have spent this month's salary. Try to do it. It's a very easy exercise. Just sit down, put the amount, once your net income, deal with it and see how much has been spent where. If you're able to do it, well done. And ask yourself, was it the areas that I wanted to spend my money at? Financial prudence starts with us making intentional move to track where our money goes and to track who gets most of our money and to track what gets most of our money. This would help you to go far. Try it, it will work for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure that you like this video and you subscribe and you share it. It will help people in your life to become better. And that's the aim of this podcast. It has been sponsored by a church because we believe that when people are empowered in how they manage their money, they will enjoy their relationship with God and go far in life. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see you next time.